This is by far the most advanced WhatsApp agent I have ever built. It handles my business on a day-to-day basis. As you can see here, we have multiple agents attached. We have a calendar agent, a contact agent for all of my contacts, and we have a Gmail agent over here. So this does basically 90% of the work that I would have to do on a day-to-day basis. And in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how we build it. Before we get into that, let me show you how it works. So if we jump over here to WhatsApp, let me send a message over to this saying, hey, do I have anything scheduled for this weekend? It's going to come through here. Realize that it's a text message. It's going to come to the agent. It's going to check my calendar and then send us a message back saying you have nothing scheduled for this upcoming weekend. I'm going to say to us, I'm not going to send a text message. I'm going to send a voice prompt back over. Hi, could you schedule a meeting for this Saturday at 2 p.m. and contact the accountant? His email is foluilori@gmail.com. That's FOLUILORI@gmail.com. Make sure to add him as an attendee to this Google Calendar event and also send him a message to confirm if he's going to attend this meeting. Okay, so after we process that message, you can see it will send us over an audio over here. So it's going to add them to the calendar, add them as an attendee, and then send them an email. And over here, you can see the AI responds with an audio message.
Certainly. I have scheduled your accountant meeting for this Saturday at 2 p.m. and sent an invitation to foluilori@gmail.com. I also sent a separate email to him confirming that he has been added to the event.
Okay, so if we jump over here to my calendar, you can see we have a scheduled appointment in here. It has added Folu, which is just my personal email. If we jump in here, it has added my email as an attendee. And if we then jump over to my emails, you can see it has sent me an email like this, which says you have been added to an event. Hi Folu, you've been added to the accountant meeting event. Thanks Folu. So we've done all of that from a voice message sent to this AI agent. So as you can see, it can do a wide range of stuff. Also, it has access to Perplexity, so it can do research for us. So I can say, hey, can you do some research on topics I can speak about in this meeting in regards to tax and AI companies. So I'm going to send that over. It's going to come through here now to the main AI agent. It's going to realize that we need to do a web search. So it's going to use Perplexity over here, which is going to search the web for us. After it does that, it's going to send a message back in which we will receive back over here on WhatsApp. The message that it sends back is, I have completed the research on the potential topics regarding tax and AI companies. Here are the 4 key areas you can discuss in your meeting. And it outputs the 4 key areas for tax in regards to AI companies. Now, let's say I forgot about the message, or I forgot about the calendar event that I have set up on Saturday. I'm going to send a message back over. Hey, what calendar events do I have set up for this weekend? I should send that over, and it should be able to check my calendar event down here and return back that I have an accountant meeting with Folu on Saturday at 2 p.m. So it responds back with another voice note.
Okay, this weekend, November 29th, you have an accountant meeting from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m.
And it tells us about the accountant meeting. Now I'm going to leave this full template that took us hours to build. I'm going to leave it for completely free in the first link in the description. Now, to get into exactly how I build it, we're going to start over here in n8n, where you have to create a new workflow, and we are going to use a WhatsApp trigger. And this is going to trigger whenever a new message comes in. I have made tons of videos. I'll tag one of the videos in the top right corner of this screen so you can watch how to connect your WhatsApp account. But very quickly, come over here, search up WhatsApp, and you have a WhatsApp Business Cloud. And we're going to select in the triggers here on messages. This is going to be where you need to connect. Press create new credential and then watch the video in where I show you exactly how to connect it. That's going to trigger whenever we send a message over. So, and if I test this really quickly and I come over here and I press hi, and I send this over here on WhatsApp, we're going to receive that message. And as you can see in here, the body, it says hi. So we receive messages. As you can see over here, we have 4 main routes, and the 4 different routes are for the 4 types of messages that you can send on WhatsApp. You can send voice messages, text messages, images, or documents. And to show you what they look like, a text message will be just like this, what we've just sent, where it's all text. Now, a voice message is like the ones that we've been sending over, where we talk in voice. And in order to get that, we need to use this route up here, and where we transcribe the audio. A document can be something like this, where we come in here and we select one of our files. Maybe if it's this thumbnail right here, I might select this and send it over, and it will come in as a file. If I quickly come in here and I press run on this, and I want to drop a file in, let's say I want to drop this file in here, and if I send that file over, then over here you can see we will receive that file and it will come over here as image. It won't be a text, it won't be an audio, it will be an image. So in here we have a switch which will determine what type of message it is. So you can see in here, if the message type, where as you can see down here, every time we receive a message, we have a message type over here. It's either going to be image, document, text, or audio. And we drag that up here and we say over here, if the type is equal to audio, then choose this route. If the type is equal to text, then choose this route number. Then choose this route right here. If the audio type is image, then this route, and if it's document, then this route. And as you can see down here, we have the 4 different routes, which is voice, is text, is image, is document. Now if it's just a text message, then you can see it will come through here and we will just store this message in our Google Sheet, which stores all of the inbound messages, so the AI agent has access to it in the future whenever it needs to return and see the previous messages. So we will store the message if it's text. Now if it's audio, we're going to come up here and we need to download the media. Now to download it, we need to come up here and we need to look WhatsApp Business Cloud, and we are going to press download media. And in here for the media, we need to put in the audio ID. And to get the audio ID, as you can see in here, in every message where it's an image, a document, or an audio, you will have a file ID, and that will be down here in the ID section. Just above the URL, you will have the ID, and you will put that in here. When you put that in here, if we run this for the image, you can see when we put that in here, it's going to process the image and it's going to output a URL in which we can use. That URL is going to be used over here in the HTTP request. And we will make it a GET request and we put in that URL right into here. We come down here for the authentication type and we select predefined credential type. In here, the predefined credential type, we're going to come down here and for the credential type, if I reselect this, when we select predefined credential type, we're going to have to select a credential type. And in here, I will look up WhatsApp API and we will just use the number that we've been using from the very start. So when you connect your WhatsApp account, that will automatically be in here. So once this is connected and you've done the process in the video that I have linked, then over here, it will automatically be here. So you just have to look up WhatsApp API and use the account that you have already connected. Once you've done that, then you are going to choose one of these. So obviously if it's text message, it's going to come straight through here and we don't need to worry about it. If it's an audio message, then we are going to transcribe the recording. We're going to look up Gemini. And in here we have, in Gemini, we can either transcribe a recording, we can analyze an image, or we can analyze a document. And that's the 3 of these here. So if we want to transcribe a recording, then we're going to select the resource as audio, transcribe, we're going to use the model Gemini 2.5 Flash. And the input type is going to be binary files. Now the binary file that we're going to use is this one right here. So if we see over here, if we process this, this is going to output a binary file and it's going to look something like this. And to use that, you're going to come over here and in this section, you're just going to type in data. As the output of this name is just data, you can just come in here and type in data. And this is going to process that output. So if I come over here, and I press this, it's going to analyze the image from whatever it gets from here. And this is going to output a description of what it just processed. So you can see in here, this image is a promotional graphic, likely a YouTube thumbnail. And that's exactly what we've uploaded. We uploaded a thumbnail and it processed that. So if it's a thumbnail or if it's an image, Gemini is going to process it and send it over to the AI agent. If it's an audio recording, we can test that out now. So I can quickly disconnect this. If I disconnect this and I run this again, I send over an audio. Hi there, this is a test 1 2 3 test. If I send this over now, then this is going to start running. It's going to choose the audio route, download the audio, and then it's going to start transcribing the audio. And as you can see in here, it says, hi there, this is a test 1 2 3 test. So transcribe that audio and it's saved over here in Google Sheets. And it's going to do the same if we upload an image. It's going to analyze the image. If we upload a document like a contract or something, analyze the document and it's going to store it over here in Google Sheets. Now over here in Google Sheets, we need to store the messages. And in order to do that, we need to create a Google Sheet like this, where we have 2 sections. This section over here is going to be for contacts. So now, whenever we need to save a contact, like when we invited Folu to the accountant meeting, it's going to save him as a contact in here. So in future reference, if I talk to my AI agent and say, can you send the accountant another message to say thanks for the meeting, then it will know to use the contacts over here. Now for the messages, we want to store all of the messages that are coming in and the messages that we send out. So you can see here we have one of the rows called message direction, one of the rows called message content, and another row called message type. Any inbound message, you can see, can I schedule an appointment for this Saturday at 2 p.m? That's the inbound message that we send to the AI agent. And the outbound message is certainly, I've scheduled your accountant meeting for 2 p.m. So we're storing all of these messages for whenever this AI agent over here needs to access them for context. And over here, we are going to select that sheet. So you can see in here, I'm using contacts. I'm using sheet number 2, as you can see down here. For storing the messages, I have it on sheet number 2. So over here, we will select sheet number 2. Message direction is going to be inbound for now. We will store the outbound message over here whenever we are sending the message. But the inbound messages we are going to store, so whatever we send over, it's going to store it in here. Now to store that inbound message, we need to come down here, and firstly, we need to either select it. So we will store the text message that a user sends over, or we are going to store whatever the AI has analyzed. And because there can only be one of them, we can put 2 of them in here, and it's either going to choose one or the other, because it can only choose one route. If we choose his text message, then this will automatically be blank. And if we send over a text message, then obviously the analysis of either of the documents will be blank. So we can put the 2 of them in here, and it will automatically pick one of them. If you see in here for the analysis of for the transcribe recording, it's just going to be text. So I'm going to drag that over and drop that in here. So that's going to be one part when we drop over the analysis, and the other part is going to be when it's just text, which you will get from the WhatsApp trigger. And that's going to be from here. So to get that, I'm going to come back over here. I'm going to trigger this again, and I'm going to send over a text message like hello. Send that over, and we will wait to receive it. We received it over here, which is just a body. So I'm going to come back over here, and we are going to store that message. So the message content is going to be from this WhatsApp trigger. I'm going to come down here, find the body, and I'm going to store it in here. So as you can see, there's kind of 2 variables here, which is either the analysis or the message body, and it can only be one or the other, so it's automatically going to pick one of them. The message type here is going to be the type over here. So you can see down here in all messages, if it was an image, then the type would be image. If it was an audio, then type would be audio. So for the message type, I'm going to drag down the type from WhatsApp trigger and drop it in here. The message direction is obviously inbound, because this is the message that the user is sending over. So that's kind of the big bulk of this AI agent build, which is being able to handle all types of messages. After we store that inbound message, then we have the main AI agent, and this is basically the orchestration agent. This is going to tell which one of these agents to use. Also, it's going to do the web search and get all of the memories over here. So you can see in here, we have one prompt here, which is a text, and this is going to be either the text or the analysis of the document. So in here, we are going to use whatever we've stored in the store inbound message. So if I run this really quickly, and we store the message, so that has just stored the message that we sent over, which was hi. And if I come over here, you can see inbound message, which was hi, and it was a text message. So if we come back out here now and we go into the AI agent, we are going to use whatever we store over here. So the message content, we are going to bring that over and drop it in here. So that's going to be the text for the AI agent to work with. The message type is either going to be whatever we stored over here. So the message type, we'll bring that over and drop it in here. And then the document / image caption, if applicable, is going to go in here. Now, to explain what that is very quickly is if we come over here and I want to send over a document, let's come into my files and I select this picture of n8n. If I send that message over, then it's basically just going to be sent over as document. But if I add text down here, like here is the n8n image, and before I send that, if I come out here and I run this, come back over here and I send over that document with the image, you can see over here we will receive that image and it's going to come in here, but the text that we send over, it's not going to come in the text section, it's going to come in the caption section. So it's going to say here is the n8n image. So over here, whenever it's a document, all of the document information is going to be in here and the caption is going to be in here. Now don't worry about being confused, we explain that more in the system prompt down here. So this is what goes in the user message, and if we come over here to get that caption, I can come down here to the WhatsApp trigger and you can see down here we have the caption, in which I'll just bring over and drop in here. Now the system message is going to explain all of that to the AI agent. So you see we have over here the overview. So this is in the instruction hierarchy. So what should you listen to the most? Firstly, the system message is the most important. Then the tool descriptions and schemas are the second. The user message is obviously third, what you look at, and then the memory of the previous conversations is fourth to what you look at. Now, whenever we have a memory of a conversation, we wanted to only read that data and never use it as instructions. The reason that is because if we sent a message 2 weeks ago, which is add so-and-so as a contact, We don't want it to use that in this message as an instruction. So that's why we put that in here. We say you are an ultimate manager agent. Your job is to delegate tasks to the correct tool. Never write emails or create summaries yourself. Only call the appropriate tool. We give it access to the current date and time. We say here is the message format. So we'll send over the text, message type, and the document/image caption. And this is basically the user message. And we say to it, if the message type equals text, then the text field is the user's actual word. So the text field up here will be basically the user's instructions. Now, if the message type is document or image, then the text field is the AI generated description of the file. So basically the analysis that we've done at the start of this video. And the caption field is now going to be the user's actual instructions for what to do with that file. If the caption is empty, then check the memory for content. Always check the message type first for docs or images. Caption is the instruction, text is the data. So that just gives it more information on how to handle the user message. And then down here we give it information on the tools it has access to. Has access to an email agent, which will do all of the email actions, calendar agent, a contact agent to store any contacts. The contact table also has a memory column, which is what you will update if we do any significant interactions, like a meeting scheduled or email sent, etc. We give access to web search, so any web-based queries, current info, research facts, etc. We also give it access to a memory tool, and it can use that to retrieve any previous messages. We say you can use this memory tool if the user's request is vague or lacks context, or basically just use this if it needs more information. We give it access to a think tool as well, which you can use whenever you're stuck. This is basically just going to force the model to think for longer. And then we give it some instructions down here. So that's the full prompt to the AI agent. And as you can see down here, we use the chat model, which is going to be Gemini 2.5 Flash. We give it access to this think model. Use this tool to think about something. It will not obtain new information or change a database, but just append the thought to the log. Use it when complex reasoning or some cache memory is needed. So this is basically just going to use this whenever it needs more time to think about something. Then you can see over here, we give it access to the web search tool, which is just Perplexity. You can come up here and look up Perplexity and choose this one. In here, we are going to say, firstly, connect your Perplexity account. Tool description set automatically, operation, message, and model. And we are going to use Sona. This is just basically the smallest, quickest model. The text that we're going to send over to the research is going to be defined by AI. So you can see over here, we'll use that a lot in this video, is this button here, which basically the AI agent is going to define what goes in here. And the simplify output, again, is going to be defined by AI. So click this button here and AI will define if it needs to simplify the output. Over here, we have the get memory tool. Get memory tool is basically just connecting to this part of the Google Sheet, and it's going to return all of the rows in this Google Sheet. So if we come back over here, in this get memory tool, it's going to be Google Sheets. We're going to connect your Google Sheets node, and we're going to select the operation as get rows, and this is going to retrieve one or more rows from a Google Sheet. And the Google Sheet we're going to retrieve that from is obviously the contacts, so we're going to select contacts, and it's going to be sheet number 2. And this is basically going to return all of the information from this sheet here in case the AI agent needs to access the previous messages. Now down here you can see we have given access to 3 separate sub agents, and up here obviously we've given it the instructions that it has access to these sub agents. First sub agent we are going to use is this calendar agent, and in here we are going to just select the tool, bring it down here. So come up here, select the tool, and we are going to select AI agent. So if you come in here, select the AI agent tool, and that's basically how we add a sub agent. This sub agent over here is a calendar tool, so we give the instructions in here. You are a calendar assistant. Your responsibilities include creating, getting, and deleting events in the user's calendar. Calendar management tools: use the create event with attendee. And when an event includes a participant, use the create event for solo events. Use the get events to fetch all the calendar scheduled, and use the delete event to obviously delete any events in the calendar. Final notes: here is the current date and time. This is very important so it knows when to create the events for. If a duration for event isn't specified, assume it will be 1 hour long. And in here, don't forget that for the user's message or for the prompt, then we are going to let AI decide what goes in here. Now in here, you can see we have given access to a model. Firstly, we are going to use Gemini 2.0 Flash for all of these AI agents. And in here, we need to give access to all of them tools. So the first tool is obviously a delete event, and you'll get that by clicking here. Come on over to Google Calendar. We're going to come in here to the Google Calendar. We're going to select the event, the resource as event. Down here, the operation is going to be delete. And we are going to we're going to choose firstly the calendar. So we're going to connect to our calendar that we want to use. You'll do that by connecting up here. Google will just ask you to sign in, and then the event ID is going to be determined by AI. So AI is going to use the get all calendar events, find the calendar ID, and then it's going to use that to delete the event. Now over here, it's going to be, the next tool is going to be get events, and you're going to use that by using the operation as get many, which is going to return all of the events in our calendar. Obviously, we're going to use the same calendar over here. We are going to limit it to 50, but we don't need that many. So I'm going to allow AI to decide. And then for the times to get the events before and after, I'm going to again allow AI to decide these. And for the descriptions, I'm going to say the day before the date the user requested and the day after the date the user requested. So we basically just give AI a little prompt on what to put in these sections here. Now for the create an event with attendee, we are going to come in here. We're going to press create. And again, it's going to be the same calendar. Start time defined by AI, end time defined by AI, except this time we're going to come down here and press add field. And when you press add field, you'll have the option to select attendees. In here, you need to add an attendee email, and that attendee email is going to be defined by AI. And we're going to say in the description, this is the email of the attendee. And then the summary, which is the event title, we are going to also allow AI to decide that. And click save on that. Now that's when we want to add somebody to the meeting, like we did over here in the initial demo where we have added my personal account to the meeting. Now, not all the time we are going to want to add an attendee, so that's why we give access to the tool, which is just create an event. And that's basically going to be exact same as the previous model where we just copy and paste everything. We allow AI to decide the start and end time, except over here we don't have any attendees because it's going to be a solo. And then over here we add summary, which is going to be the event title as well. And obviously we allow AI to select that. It's the full calendar agent that basically has access to do everything you need to do in your calendar. Now over here we have given it access to the contact agent. Now in this contact agent, obviously prompt is going to be defined by AI. The instructions in here is you are a contact management AI agent. You have access to only the following tools: get contacts, create contact, and update a contact. Never answer from your knowledge or memory. Never invent or guess any contact information. And we just give it instructions on when you should add somebody, when you should delete somebody, and when you should update a contact. And down here, obviously it's Gemini 2.5 Flash again, and we have create new contact, update contact, and get contact. Create new contact is going to be over here on the Google Sheet. So you can see over here, firstly we have all of the inbound messages, but in sheet number 1 we have the contacts table, and in this contacts table we have first name, last name, email, phone number, and any memory about that contact. So like if we've scheduled any meetings, if we've done anything specific with this contact, it will store it over here. So if we come back over here, you can see whenever we want to create a new contact, we're going to use that same Google Sheet, which is contacts, and except this time it's going to be sheet number 1. And in here we are going to map each column mode manually, and we are going to allow AI to decide what the first name is, what the last name is. We're going to allow AI to decide to define the email for the person, either if we have it or if we don't have it, and we are going to allow AI to define the phone number for the person. So with the memory, here's any relevant details like email sent, events scheduled for this person, and we'll again allow AI to define that. So that's going to store all of the people into this Google Sheet over here, any relevant context that we have. If we want to update that person, it's going to be the same thing over here, except the operation is not going to be append or create a new row. It's instead going to be update a row. And we are going to come down here, and the column that we are matching on is usually we are going to want to use email. So we are going to select email up here, and then for the rest of these, we will allow AI to decide what it needs to update. And then for get new contacts, this is basically just going to get every contact from this sheet. So you can see here, it's the same sheet, which is contacts and sheet number 1. And this is going to return all of the contacts. So if I say to send an email to somebody, then it's going to retrieve all of our contacts, realize who we need to send an email to, and then come over to this next section over here, which is the email section. Now in this email section over here, we have the email agent, which again, obviously the prompt is going to be defined by AI over here, but the system prompt in which we give it the instructions is: you are an email management assistant. All emails must be formatted professionally in HTML and signed off as Folu. The email management tools it has access to is send emails, which is going to send an email. We have create a draft if you want to create in a draft and we don't want it to maybe send an email straight away. If we might want to review it rather than have AI send it. Over here is the get emails, and this is to retrieve any emails when requested. We have the use email reply, and this is to reply to an email. You must use get emails first, so you have a message ID of the email that you want to reply to. That's basically all of the tools that it has access to. And then down here, we give it access to them tools. So see over here, obviously we are using Gemini 2.5 Flash here as a model. The first one we have is email reply, and you'll get that by obviously coming up here, looking up Gmail. You come up here, search up Gmail, and these are all of the tools that we have access to. And the first one we're going to use is the email reply. So we'll come up here, the resource is going to be message, and the operation is going to be to reply to a message. The message ID, the AI will define, so it will get all messages first, determine what message we are replying to, and then it will put in the message ID here. And we just give it in the description, this is the message ID. Email type is always going to be HTML, and we're going to allow AI to decide what message to send back to the user. Next one we have is if we want to mark a message as unread. This is not really necessary. I don't think I've never actually used this, so we don't really have to include this one, but in case you want to include it, just come in here. The resource is going to be message, and we're going to mark it as unread, and you will include again the message ID here by allowing over here, allowing AI to decide what message to mark as unread. Over here we have get emails, and this is basically just going to get all of the emails. In here again, resource message operation is going to be get many. The limit is going to be defined by AI, how many emails does the user want, and then the filters is going to be who the emails are from. So the sender, we always want the sender so we can get all emails from a specific person. So in here, AI is going to decide who do we want to get the emails from, and it's going to retrieve all messages from the sender here. Then over here we have if you want to create a draft email. So you'll come in here and you can see resources draft operation is to create, and the subject will be defined by AI. Email type is HTML, and the message will also be defined by AI. Option over here is if we want to reply to somebody and we want to make it a thread, then over here we will have AI decide which thread ID we want it to append to. So this would be if we are basically responding to somebody, it will put the thread ID in here, so it basically replies to that person. And then the to email, who will be sending the email to, AI is going to decide over here. And then lastly over here, just the simple send email, if you want to send an email to somebody. So up here, message operation is going to be send, who we sending it to, AI will decide. Subject, AI is going to be decide, again email type HTML, and the message is going to be determined by AI. And that's basically the full WhatsApp agent fully built. So now it's going to be able to process all of these different types of things over here using these sub agents. And then over here is where we decide if we are going to send back a text message or a voice message. As you've seen in the initial demo, if I sent over a voice message, AI would respond in voice. If I sent over a text, it would respond in text. So this is what this section over here is doing. So as you can see in here, AI is going to output the responses to the initial messages. And then over here, we are going to use a switch node. And this is going to be, if the initial message type is audio, then you are going to choose this route. If the initial message type is not equal to audio, then you will choose this route. So if it's not equal to audio, then we are just going to send a message back to the user, which is the output from the AI agent. To do that, we're going to come in here and we're going to use the WhatsApp. Look up here, WhatsApp Business Cloud, and it's going to be send a message. So in here, we are going to send a message back. We're going to use the sender phone number, which is basically the one connected to your account. Recipient's phone number is going to be whoever sent the first message. So over here in the WhatsApp trigger, we will have that in the WhatsApp ID section. So this is basically going to be my phone number, as I'm going to be the one using this AI agent. And then the message type is going to be text. We're going to use the AI agent 1, which is the main AI agent. We're going to use that as the text body to send back over to the user. Then over here, we are going to store the outbound message that we just sent. It's going to be stored in sheet number 2, which is this one over here, not the contacts, but sheet number 2, where we store all of the inbound and outbound messages. What we are going to store over here is we are going to store the message type as outbound. the message content as whatever the AI agent has outputted. The option number 2 over here is if it's a voice message that we initially receive, then it's going to come up here and we're going to use OpenAI, which is generate an audio. And basically what it's going to do is just use the AI agent output. So if we were going to send it over as text, then we would just use the AI agent. But now that we're sending it over as audio, we're going to use the output as the AI agent. OpenAI is going to turn the output into audio. So we're going to generate audio to generate audio node, and you'll get that by coming over here, switching up OpenAI, and you will choose this one over here, which is generate audio. Then in here we will use the model as TTS1. Text input is going to be from the AI agent, and the voice, you can choose whatever voice you want to use over here. To make sure that we add an option and choose the response format as Opus. To send it over as a message, we're going to come over here to the send audio message. So in here, instead of sending a text message, it's going to be an audio message. The resource message operation send, except this time down here, these sections are all going to be the same as previously, except this time down here, the message type is not going to be text, it's going to be audio, and the audio is going to be take audio from n8n. So you can see in here, we can either use a link, we can use WhatsApp media, or we can use the audio from n8n. So I'm going to select n8n here, and the input data field is just going to be data, DATA. You will just type that in manually. So just type in that data. And this is going to use whatever OpenAI outputs as audio. It's going to use that as a message to send back over to the user. And then again, over here, we are storing that message. The message direction is outbound, and the message content is going to be whatever the AI agent outputs. So obviously, we can store an audio message over here in Google Sheets. So we will just use the AI agent output, which is basically just a text version of the audio output. Basically the full build completely done. Like I mentioned before, I will leave the full n8n template in my free community below. If you like that video, leave a comment below and let me know what you want to see next.